Hi friends, I'm happy to be back with another video. I made a cute Christmas card with the Stitched Teapot from Lawn Fawn and the beautiful poinsettias. I started this card by die cutting the stitched poinsettia. I chose the two smallest petals and I die cut those 3 times out of Bristol smooth cardstock. I also die cut the small leaf 5 times out of the green cilantro cardstock. And then that center of the poinsettia, I did that one with some gold cardstock I had lying around. Before assembling the flowers, I decided to ink blend the petals with some distress ink in spun sugar. I just blended some ink in the center of those petals. I wanted a very soft color, and in my opinion, regular distress inks work best for this. Also, I didn't put on the color to the very outside of those petals. I really just wanted the centers to have that beautiful pink color. And for these small die cuts, I always use the Pink Fresh blending brushes. I think this one is the 1/2 inch size. After inking up all these flowers, I could start assembling them. I just put a little dot of liquid glue on the middle of that largest flower, and then I put that smaller one on top, just like you see me doing here. And then I did the same with the 2 gold centers. I stacked them on top of each other and then I put them on those flowers. I'm in love with these flowers and I use them every year for a few elegant Christmas cards. Look how beautiful this one is. I really love that soft color on this one. I put my 3 flowers aside for now, and now I can work on my teapot. I die cut it out of the beige Let It Shine paper from Lawn Fawn. This is really such a beautiful paper. It gives it such a very cute look. And then I already took the smiley face die and I gave this teapot some eyes and a little smile. I also die cut a few pieces of the teapot out of the teal Let It Shine paper, and I adhered these 3 little pieces with liquid glue, just like you see me doing here. At the back of the teapot, I put a little scrap piece of black cardstock where the eyes and the mouth are. And then my teapot is already finished. This is actually super adorable. The little eyes and the smiley face make it extra special. And then I realized that this little guy still needs some blushy cheeks. So I die cut those out of Bristol Smooth and I put that same spun sugar ink on top. So the same color like before with the poinsettias. Again, just that regular distress ink. And then I adhere both of those sweet little cheeks on his little face. I'm just showing you the dies of this Stitched Teapot really quickly because the die set has great accessories as well, like a little tea bag and a little flower, but I'm not using those on this card. Before going to the background, I'm just playing around with placement a little bit. I wanted the 3 poinsettias to surround the teapot, and by playing with it, I could see if my idea would work. And it did, so I was super happy at this point. Time to work on my background now. I took a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock and I placed it on my Wendy Vecchi Make Art station with some purple tape. I just made a little loop with the tape and I placed it on the back of my cardstock and then on top of my Make Art station. Then I'm taking the Winter Sprigs stencil from Lawn Fawn. This is actually a 3-piece stencil, but I'm starting off with all the greenery. I chose 3 colors of distress ink, Lucky Clover, Evergreen Bough and Cracked Pistachio. But actually, you don't really see that much the color difference in the end. So if you want, you can totally do it with just one color of green. And then, when everything was inked up, I could remove my stencil to show off my work. Then I placed on the second stencil, which has all the berries, and I chose picked raspberry for these. I thought that spun sugar would be a little bit too light for this background, and I actually think I should have gone with an even brighter color. Or I could have used my oxides for this background as well. I have to admit that I mostly use Distress Oxides for my cards. I just love the bolder and the brighter look that oxides give. But the regular Distress inks deserve some love as well from time to time. After revealing the second part, I could go over to the third and last stencil, which has the pine cones on it. The pine cones itself, I use these with Vintage Photo, and then those other little spots like a few stars and a few circles, I did those with squeezed lemonade. This turned out to be a very soft background. I would have gone with a brighter background, as I mentioned earlier, but in the end it does blend very well with the soft colors on the teapot and the poinsettias. So I will make a brighter background with this fun stencil on a future card. I die cut that background with a small stitched rectangle, and then I placed this small rectangle piece on a larger rectangle that was cut with the favorite flannel paper. This is a beautiful teal paper. Now I didn't want lots of dimension, so I put my whole background up with foam tape. I love the combination of the colors on that stenciled panel with the teal patterned paper. Then I also popped up the little teapot with a few foam squares, and I placed it more on the top of the card because the poinsettias would cover lots of the bottom part of the card panel. Then I'm placing the 3 poinsettias at the bottom. I'm adhering these with a combination of liquid glue and foam squares. And the petals that cover the teapot are glued on with liquid glue, and the petals at the bottom are adhered with little foam squares. I just cut my large foam squares with scissors so they could fit at the back of those petals. I advise you to do this so that this card is sturdy enough to go through the mail. Now onto the green leaves. I just did these with my liquid glue directly on the stenciled card panel. I placed them all around the poinsettias, and I decided to use 5 leaves because uneven numbers seem to be more pleasing to the eye. So this is my card panel for now, but it does need a card base. So I took a white card panel that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I scored it at 5 1/2 inches to create my card base. Then I adhered my card panel on top with dry adhesive. I also decided to curl up a few petals to create even more dimension and a more realistic look. And here I was like, oh, my card doesn't have a sentiment yet. I tried to put a 2-piece sentiment on the left and right top corner of the card panel, but it just didn't seem right. So I decided to stamp a sentiment on the inside of the card. I chose a Merry Christmas sentiment and I stamped this with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then I left some place below the sentiment so I can write a little message as well. And this inside sentiment really finishes off the cards for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye!